A very good morning to all my dear friends. I hope you all are doing good this morning. I am Prashant and let's see what we have got in Hindu. But before that, a positive start. There is more treasure in books than in all the pirates' loot on Treasure Island. A statement that personally I cannot disagree with, right? Books are my best friends, and I'm sure if you are reading any sort of book, right? Let me tell you one thing, that you will learn at least one thing from the worst book. I don't consider any book worst. I find at least something good in every book, right? And I have tried this thing, and I will recommend you guys as well to try this thing. When you go to library, pick up a random book, right? Pick up a random book that you have not thought about, and you will learn something about something new. And it is very important, because what happens is that our choice as well, if you think about it, then you will find that our choice to is decided by our subconscious mind based on our experiences. But when you pick up something random from the library shelf, you are exploring something that is not there in your mind. So do give it a go. With this difference, we have many important articles. This one is about Colombia, political situation going on in Colombia. Help yourself with this one. It's a one-time read article. If you don't know where Colombia is, if you are just new with this discussion, then open your atlas and locate, or go through South American continent and you will find Colombia. We have talked about political situation of Colombia a couple of days ago, or maybe a couple of weeks ago, and here you have this article explaining the difference between data science and statistics. Again, not that important for your examination, but should not leave it. Just have a quick glance over it. Apart from that, we are going to analyze all the articles that you can see on your screen. With this difference, StudyIQ provides pen drive and tablet courses for various different exams. As you can see on your screen, we have covered so many different subjects of so many different competitive exams. They are designed by best faculties of our country. Check out studyiq.com to find out more about it. I have gone through your comments. First of all, let me tell you about this thing. I saw one comment asking whether 65 questions were asked. Yes, that is right. 65 questions were asked. I am going to bring out a video as well on this 65 questions. And one more thing that I would like to tell you is that I have also contributed many questions in this 40 test series. Previous one as well I have contributed, and there are many students who have successfully have gone through this recently conducted prelims, and they are happy about it. So find out more about it on testseries.studyiq.com. If you have any question or queries, dear friends, these are our numbers, right? If you want to know anything about pen drive and tablet courses, someone wrote that someone is not happy with the services, then the best thing, if they are not picking up your call or anything, if you're finding, when I say if they are not picking, of course they are answering many students throughout the day, but just in case if you have any problem, then do write it to me, right? Do send me a message. It should be brief. Do let me know specification of your issue, and I will make sure that I pass your issue to the right person, right? Do get in touch with me via Facebook page or Twitter handle. I will share this PDF lecture for you guys, and I will request you guys to share it with other people as well. Don't just download and keep it with you, right? You are getting it for free. Just you have to do is share with other people, and don't forget to hit the like button. I have observed that as soon as I upload this video, there are a few competitors, or I don't know, few people not happy about it. They just hit the dislike button without going through the video. God bless them, right? The day when they will go through it, they will appreciate the hard work that is going behind this 30-minute lecture. Now, heart of the matter, very important organization, NOTO, NOTTO, National Organ and Tissue Transplant Organization. One additional information which is very important, because this is the second time we are finding an article on this organ donation in the Hindu in recent past. So it's important for us to go through some important details, and make sure you revise this thing, because you never know, this type of questions you find it in upcoming mains examination. Organ donation is a very important thing. Apart from that, when we talk about health, all right, then Generally, we talk about hospitals, we talk about medicine, we talk about insurance, but hardly we talk about organ donation. And organ donation is a thing that is very important. There are so many people out there, right? They can get a new lease of life if they get organ on time. And we know it very well in a populous country like our country, right? India, we see so many new births taking place, and so many people are leaving this earth forever, isn't it, every day in our country. Apart from that, you can make something good out of something bad. It all depends. Check out yesterday's lecture's comment. Someone has talked about half glass full or half glass empty. We find so many accidents taking place in our country. In fact, we are number one when it comes to road fatalities and road accidents. And you know it very well that most of the people, right? I don't have a perfect data, but we can assume this educational guess can be made. That let's say 50% of those people who are unfortunate enough to lose their life on roads, Indian roads, they would be having good heart, they would be having good liver, kidney and other organs, right? And their organs can give a new lease of life to other people. So we can make something good out of something bad. So this is enough to explain or understand that organ donation is a very important thing in our country. Now, why we are finding this article in the Hindu, or why it is part of current affairs? Because recently there was a big uproar in the state of Tamil Nadu, and the main accusation or the main reason behind this storm is that foreign patients, they are getting they are getting heart transplant, or they are the ones who are benefiting most out of this organ donation when compared to Indian patients. Tamil Nadu is a state that is in discussion, or it is part of discussion, is because if you go through our country, you will find that Tamil Nadu is number one. Tamil Nadu or Tamil Nadu, right? Tamil Nadu is number one in organ donation, or the ecosystem that they have of organ donation, because it all started, right, because of their political will, which is very important for anything. Then you have bureaucracy, civil servants, right? They were quite active, forward thinking, and NGOs as well, right? So all these three important, you can say, pillars took, they contributed in setting up this ecosystem of human organ donation in Tamil Nadu. And because of this initial kickstart and continuous effort, we find that it is number one state as far as organ donation is concerned. Many southern states, they have learned from Tamil Nadu, and they have applied the best practices of Tamil Nadu. They have applied their own they have applied their own mind and their own kept this weakness and strength in mind, and they have emulated Tamil Nadu. So it's good. South India is doing, generally speaking, very good when you compare it with North India. North India is not doing that good when it comes to organ donation. So of course what you find is that people from North India traveling to southern part of India for organ transplant, or for finding someone or finding this organ that can give them new lease of life. Now, it's a very interesting thing. I never thought about this thing, but this is right as well, that every country goes through this evolution process as far as organ donation is concerned. And I hope you understand what I mean here, or what this article is trying to tell us, or what this line is trying to tell us. If we go through different parts of the world, right, go back 25 years ago, organ donation was something, it was something not that common in our country. Only few people, right, who are extraordinary rich, they were the only ones who were aware about this thing, or they were the only ones who were not aware, but they were the ones to whom this thing was accessible. If you compare the same organ donation thing, then we find that in countries like USA, Canada, some parts of Europe, it is even today Australia and New Zealand as well. Over there, they have a very developed ecosystem of organ donation. And here as well, you find that it's very interesting that in some parts of the world you have heart donation is something that is very common. In some other parts, kidney donation is common. So it's not just about this ecosystem, it is also about different organs as well. They also have their evolution, the ups and downs, depending on what is in need. Anyways, now the thing is, if we compare different organs in our country, then we find we have talked about this thing. So I'm going to be very quick here. Right, heart and lung transplantation were not that common 5 years ago, but now they are picking up. The other thing is that waiting lists, right, are still small as far as this heart and lung transplantation is concerned. And what is happening here in our country is that we don't find suitable person or suitable fit for the receiver or Indian patient, and because of this thing we find that foreigners, if we find a suitable fit, then this is given away to a foreigner or foreign patient. The other thing is time, right? Kidney can be preserved for 12 to 18 hours, liver can be preserved for 8 to 12 hours, but as far as lungs and heart is concerned, like heart, you need 6 hours only. You have 6 hours, small bracket. What we lack here in our country is air ambulance. So without air ambulance and other infrastructure, we won't be able to preserve this donated lungs, hearts, and other items, many times kidneys as well. So these are the things that we have to keep in our mind. It's not that foreigners are paying extra money. There will be some places, right? I'm not saying that it is 100% full profit. Yes, we find many people who are using it as a business as well. But what we can do is we can work on this trust side, because remember, the whole issue is about trust. The things that are going on, this uproar going on in southern part of our country is about money, winning organs for you. This sort of things are going on. What we can do is we can create this system. We can create the system of donation and allocation. It should be traced, right? It should be tracked. You should be able to, or the family members who are doing this generous donation during their personal crisis, great personal crisis, in this point of time, if they are giving away organs of their loved ones, then of course they should have, or they should be roped in, they should be made aware about who is the receiver, how he or she is performing, where they are living, etc. So 1 month, 2 month data, 6 month data, 1 year, 5 year data, it should be given to this donor. So once we create this donation and allocation trial, then we would be able to create this trust. And remember always that one donor can save 7 lives. We need to work on the trust. We cannot this mistrust, we should not allow, and we cannot allow mistrust to win lives, because there are so many people out there who require this organ donation, and they can get a new life. With this, this one is about a spirit of Sentosa. Sentosa is an island in Singapore. Why it is in news, I'm sure you have judged. Here you can see America, here you can see a hairstyle of Kim Jong-un. So it's about North Korea and it's about USA, and the meeting that took place here in this part of the world. This is Singapore. We were talking about Singapore, isn't it? Yesterday, I think I told you about city-state when we were talking about tourism. Anyways, coming back to this topic here, you can see ASEAN countries here. You can see Malaysia, you can see Brunei, which is a very small country here. Then you can see Indonesia. Then many differences. A better map was provided. When I say better, I'm talking about, it was more about these water bodies. But here is Singapore, right? And this Sentosa place is a tourist place. It's very famous for tourism. We were talking about tourism, isn't it? And see how beautiful this just one picture looks, right? Anyways, this meeting took place here. Now, what we find in, I'm sure you know brief about it. I'm sure you know background about this thing as well, about the behavior of Kim regime of North Korea. And for a very long period of time, President of USA has also followed this carrot and stick approach. Means carrot basically means giving away or giving some sort of soft side is considered carrots, and stick is tough side or hard stance taken by US presidents. As far as this North Korea is concerned, and we have seen this mix of authoritarianism and holding out nuclear threats and irrational behavior from 3 generations of Kims. Now, in recent past, if we go through 2017, I have repeated this thing many a times, so it looks a bit boring as well, but I have to say it for new students that if you go back in 2017 and early 2018, then we found that it was looking impossible for these 2 leaders or these 2 countries to interact with each other. They were threatening each other with dire consequences and things like that. And recently they had a meeting here in Sentosa, which is a good thing. It's a historic thing. Sentosa will be remembered forever and ever in history, because this is the first time in 70 years that 2 leaders, you can say ongoing leaders of North Korea and USA have meet each other. Now, if we go through this agreement or this meeting that took place, we find that there is nothing in the document which was not agreed back in 1994 and 2005. Basically, it's a declaration of intent. That means these are the things that both the sides are intending to achieve. It's not something that is mandatory or bounding each other. Of course, you can imagine, but I look at it from different perspective. I look at how I see this particular meeting is, I see it glass half full. Now, many people out there, they are talking about giving Nobel Prize to North Korean Kim and USA's Mr. Trump. People are saying that they are the ones, they were against each other, but then as well they have come together and this meeting took place, so they deserve a Nobel Prize. Really, to be honest, not at present, because the thing is that because of their aggressive posture, many things have lost, right? There are many cracks that we have to cement. So they don't deserve Nobel Prize at present, right? The way things are going on, this is just one step. There are many things to be achieved right in near future, so it would be too early to nominate these 2 gentlemen as nomination for Nobel Peace Prize. But a person that truly deserves a Nobel Peace Prize is the person that you can see on your screen. I told you about his background, isn't it? His name is Mr. Moon, and he is president of South Korea. He is considered as one of the finest, a person who is having extraordinary diplomatic skills. He has an impeccable record of integrity, poise, and sincerity. He's the one who worked behind the curtain. He's the one who created this whole situation in which this USA and North Korea interacted with each other. So he's the best person. If you want to give away a Nobel Prize, then he's the man here. Moving on to another item. This is about power crisis. It's not about electricity. It is about power tussle that is going on between Aam Aadmi Party, AAP, and central government. It's pertaining to this constitutional limits of the powers of elected government in New Delhi. Now, I'll give you a small question, right? What are the 3 things on which elected government of New Delhi, right, cannot take any decision? What are these 3 things? It's only the central government that can take decision. So do let me know in the comment section. The other thing is, I will also recommend you guys to go through this constitutional setup of union territories, right? And in union territories, you will find a distinction between Puducherry, Delhi. They are in one group, right? You have union territories, right? We have 7, and out of this 7 union territories, you have this Delhi and Puducherry. They have their own legislative assemblies, right? They have their own legislative assemblies. In other union territories, You have administration. Administration, that basically means central government is looking after the other 5. Now, Delhi is a bit different from Puducherry, right? As I told you, there are 3 things on which Delhi cannot take decision. So, and Puducherry, you have, of course, you have Lieutenant Governor in Puducherry, and the way things work over there is different. So, go through a good book that will give you a good detail about this union territories, and with this also compare other union territories with Delhi and Puducherry, and then compare Delhi and Puducherry with each other, because you find this type of questions in MCQ next year, right? You will find, and this is the time that you have to prepare. Every day is important for you, so don't take it that I will do it later on. You have to do it today itself. Don't leave it for some other day. It will take just about 30 to 45 minutes to go through a good chapter, and then think about it, then do revision, and there you go. This is how you have to do. You don't have to remember all the things in one shot. Again, every one of us have different way of preparing, so whatever is best for you, apply that thing, right? I'm not saying that this is the only way. There could be other ways as well, right? So differences extend to Lieutenant Governor's discretionary power to appoint Chief Secretary. Now, dharnas are going on, and we know what happened in Delhi in recent past, that Chief Secretary was assaulted in front of Chief Minister. This is not acceptable at all. It is not just, it is not about favoring bureaucracy and going against Aam Aadmi Party. No. It is more about, politicians and bureaucrats. They have to work with each other. They are insufficient without each other. They are just like husband and wife, right? So, if they work in cooperation with each other, then the country or the state or that particular city becomes beautiful and prosperous in all different ways. But if they are against each other, then what you find is dharnas, and eventually, who is going to face this brunt, right? Who is going to face the loss of this tussle between bureaucracy and politician? It is the people of that particular region they are going to face. The other thing is we have to think about, right? There should be a committee, there should be proper discussion on this thing. If you have elected government, then why don't allow that elected government to take all decisions? And if you want to keep it as a union territory, then just take away or get rid of this legislative assembly and all these things. Then you have one more viewpoint. Delhi is a big city, isn't it? You have population of Delhi is huge. When you compare it with some states of northeast, you find that it is populated. It is very populated. So what about making it a full state? There are many different angles that you can think about. Of course, there is no one answer about it, but you have to think from different angles. And somewhere in future, when we find something good about it, at least we have our base ready. Then you have cross framing. Now, unplanned pregnancy is a huge and common problem in our country. It's not just taking place in poor sections of our society. It's happening with affluent section as well. Unplanned pregnancy. Now, abortion is such a thing. Many a times it is medical necessity. We saw what happened in Ireland. There was a referendum, and a couple of years ago, I think it was in 2012, when a lady from India, she was living over there, and she passed away because over there she was not allowed to go through abortion. Anyways, now they are going to have this thing. In India, yes, you can have abortion. But here we have some other problem. We have cultural stigmatization of abortion. It is considered as a very bad thing. Many times when it is a medical necessity, then as well it is considered it is considered as sort of sin. Now, no doubt, a religion, right? If you look at it from religious point of view, then religions normally, generally speaking, they talk about this thing as a bad thing. But when you look at it from medical perspective, when you look at it from your life perspective, then many times it is necessary too. The other thing is, I have a couple of questions here, which are of course not part of this article, but there are few things that we can think about. If abortion, right, if abortion is something, if it is sin, or if it is illegal, say for example, or if this is, as culturally speaking, if it is a bad thing to do, right, then why we don't consider the fetus, right, that is in the tummy of the lady, why we don't consider or give it a full citizenship, right? Then there is one more question that do we share property in three different parts? Do we? When I say three different parts, you have two kids already and one kid is on the way. Then we use this term as well, that we have two kids and one is on its way. So that means that we are, many times we don't consider it a full, or we don't consider it as a human being. You know what I mean? We don't consider fetus as a citizen. But when it comes to abortion, then people are basically arguing that it is wrong and things like that. The main thing is that it should be totally, in the hands of the lady who is carrying that, who is pregnant, right? It is her right to decide, and it is her right to privacy as well, whether she wants to conduct an abortion or not. The other thing is acres of contention. This is about Indian judiciary. Now what we find is, I'm sure you would be aware about this figure, that it takes at least 5 years, right? This is an average figure. In some cases it may took 10 years or more than that as well, when it comes to when you want to sort out this property related issues or economic justice, which is of course enshrined in Article 38 of our constitution. What we find is cases are going on forever, for ages and ages, land dispute cases going on, then investors coming or investing in different parts of our country. If they find something wrong, or if there is a cheating or something, then the case will go on forever and ever. Many judgments taken by Supreme Court, many judgments taken by High Courts. So you will find good example in this article, right? If you want names, then yes, you will find the names as well. Those judgments, bad judgments, right, have created huge amount of loss, economic loss, right? And this has diverted many investors from our country as well. There are so many investors, so many big companies, they don't want to come into our country, they don't want to invest in India, because if something goes wrong, then it will take ages, and their whole crores and billions and millions of rupees will be stuck for a very long period of time. The other thing is, even today, we don't make government authorities responsible, or we don't hold them accountable. They are the ones who take the decision, right? If their decision is wrong, then they should be made accountable. We cannot just provide them a shield. Of course, there should be a fine balance, right? If something that is done, means if it is a genuine mistake, then we can understand and accept it. But if something is done purposefully, then that should not be tolerated at all. Because many times you find environment is involved in it. Then the other thing we find is that after the case is over, right? Like say for example, a farmer is let's take this example here. Farmer selling land to a particular party, right? Then case goes on in the courts, and finally, right, this land will be given to state government. Why state government? Why it should not be given back to the farmers? So this is what happens, right? The person who is in need for money or anything, that person is giving or trying to sell this land, and finally the land will come in state government, and then it will be given away to other companies and other big companies. So this sort of things are going on. We need to get rid of it if we want to create more jobs, because if we are not looking after our cases, if they are going on forever and ever, then as I told you, we won't be able to create, or this economic cycle will come to a hold. You have some important news items here. Do go through these articles in detail. That's everything, dear friends. These are your answers to questions. Make sure you answer them, and do check out our test series. Again, if you have any question or queries regarding anything, right, you can write it down to me, but the best person to get in touch will be the person who will answer your call on this number. Thank you very much for listening. Do share this lecture. Enjoy your studies. Hit the like button. Jai Hind.